Welcome to this session. Today, we will be discussing simple and compound propositions. In this particular module, we'll be talking about the distinction between simple and compound propositions, the nature of simple proposition, and its types. The outline of this module: definition of simple and compound propositions, distinction between simple and compound propositions, and the types of simple propositions. Learning outcome: the learner will be able to understand, recognize, and symbolize the different types of simple propositions. There are two different classifications of propositions: the traditional classification and the modern classification of propositions. The modern proposition is more scientific. In the modern classification of propositions, we'll be talking about simple propositions and compound propositions. Our focus here will be on simple and compound propositions. There's also the third kind of proposition, that is the general proposition. The general proposition asserts a relation between the two classes. To take an example of a general proposition, all crocodiles are reptiles. Coming to a simple proposition, the proposition which contains a single statement is called a simple proposition. A simple proposition refers to a simple fact. What is a fact? Fact is anything that is the case. A simple proposition cannot be analyzed into other facts, or it cannot be further subdivided into other facts. To take an example of a simple proposition, I would ride up the avenue. Bertrand Russell is dead. If you look at these propositions, we realize that it consists of just one single statement. These propositions cannot be further divided, or they cannot be further analyzed, and that is the reason they are called as simple propositions. A simple proposition makes an assertion of an individual or individuals. What is an individual? An individual here refers to anything which possesses an attribute. It could be a person, a building, city, or a country. Coming to a compound proposition, when two or more simple propositions are combined together to form one single statement, it is called as a compound proposition. Compound propositions can be further analyzed. They can be further subdivided. We can take an example here. My typewriter has sharp keys and it cuts paper. If you look at this particular example, we see that there are two statements or two propositions. The first one is, my typewriter has sharp keys. That is one statement or one proposition. And the other proposition, it cuts paper. So we take the two statements or these two propositions and combine them together or join them together and form one single statement. And when we do so, it is called as a compound proposition. To take another example of a compound proposition, Russians have orbited satellites, and so have the Americans. Here also we see that there are two statements or two propositions. Russians have orbited satellites, that is one statement or one proposition, and so have the Americans, that is the other propositions or the other statement. There are four kinds of simple propositions: subjectless proposition, subject-predicate proposition, relational proposition, and the fourth one is class membership proposition. Coming to the first one, subjectless proposition. The subjectless proposition is a primitive type of a proposition. Here, the thinker asserts something, but the statement is not fully expressed. In the case of a subjectless proposition, they are of two types. One is exclamatory and the other one is impersonal. To take examples of subjectless propositions: fire, thieves, it rains. If you look at these examples, the first two examples, fire, thieves, These are examples of exclamatory propositions. Okay? They give us information saying that maybe the house is on fire, or information regarding the thieves. Whereas the third example, it rains, is an example of an impersonal proposition. In the case of an impersonal proposition, it has a grammatical subject, but it does not have a logical subject. Here we don't have a symbolic representation for subjectless propositions. Next we go on to subject-predicate propositions. Subject-predicate propositions states that an individual possesses an attribute or a quality. The individual is a singular term. To take an example, Jake is clever. This man is rude. If you look at the first example, Jake is clever, the subject is a proper name. Whereas the second example, this man is rude, is a descriptive phrase. When it comes to subject-predicate proposition, the symbolic representation of a subject-predicate proposition is shown here. S-P, capital S and capital P. Capital S standing for subject and capital P standing for predicate, which is an attribute. Now these examples which I have given you here of subject-predicate propositions are affirmative. This man is rude, Jake is clever. Okay? So the symbolic representation of them will be S-P, both S and P capital. If you negate a subject-predicate proposition, or if you have a negative subject-predicate proposition, let's say for example, this ring is not beautiful. This is how it is symbolized. I've shown the symbolic representation here. This ring is not beautiful. So we have got a negation, the word not. The negation in logic is symbolized by a tilde. So this particular proposition will be symbolized in this way. The negation will be put outside the bracket. The symbol used, as I told you, is a tilde. Tilde, open the bracket, S-P, close the bracket. So the denial of a subject-predicate proposition is shown here. The third one is a relational proposition. A relational proposition asserts a relation between two constituents. The relation between the two constituents is called the terms of relation. They cannot be called the subject and predicate. A relational proposition may express relation between 3, 4 or even more subjects. Some of the terms which are used in order to show the relation are these. We will use words like wife of, father of, sister of, etc. We also use transitive verbs like love, hate, give, take, etc. Sometimes we also use other expressions like bigger than, same as, different from, equal to, taller than, smaller than, etc. In the case of a relational proposition, the relation proceeds from something to something else. This is called the sense or direction of relation. The term from which the relation proceeds is called the referent, and the term to which the relation proceeds is called the relatum. To take an example of a relational proposition, Ceylon is smaller than India. The symbols used in the case of a relational proposition are x, small x, for referent, and small y for relatum. And to show the relation between the two terms, we use a capital R. The symbolic representation of this particular statement, Ceylon is smaller than India, I've shown it here. X will refer to Ceylon, Y to India. That is the relatum. Okay, so it will be written X. In order to show the relation between the two, we use a capital R, X, R, Y. Or it can also be written this way, X, or it can also be written this way, R outside the bracket, X, comma, Y. If there are more constituents, you can go on adding down there X, Y, Z, etc. If you try to deny a relational proposition, the denial of a relational proposition is represented here. I've shown it here. Suppose we take an example. Romeo did not hate Juliet. Okay, we have got a negation here. The negation, as I've already told you, is been symbolized by this tilde. Okay, it will come before R, tilde, negation, R, in the bracket, X, comma, Y. The fourth one, class membership proposition. A class membership proposition asserts that an individual is a member of a class. For example, Sai Baba is a saint. Here, Sai Baba is included in the class of saints. How do we symbolize a class membership proposition? We use a small a to symbolize a subject, capital F, the class in which the individual is given membership, and the sign epsilon stands for class membership. So if you want to symbolize this particular proposition, Sai Baba is a saint, it is symbolized this way, A epsilon F, which is shown here. If you want to deny, or if you want to give a negative class membership proposition, the denial is shown here. When we have a negative term, like the words like no, not, the symbol which is used is a tilde. To take an example here, Hanuman is not a man. If you want to symbolize this, the negation will come outside the bracket. Negation, open the bracket, A standing for the subject, epsilon F, F standing for the membership. To summarize this module elaborates on the classification and the types of modern propositions and its symbolic representations. These are your references. Thank you.